Now that I would like to introduce Nujud from Bahrain. She kindly confirmed to be the active participant for this session. So my question to her is that how do you use the data on their database? I mean, you can talk about the FAO GM Foods platform data or any data that you use on those three databases. Nujud? Okay, I'm not hearing what she has to say. But then, okay. Actually, Nujud, I really wish that you could speak on the microphone, but then my colleague will be calling you to help you to reconnect. So meanwhile, that I can actually help you in that sense because you and then my colleague discussed this issue together. So then I do have some information that was sent from you. So I could probably introduce on behalf of you about these comments from you. So what we have here is that Nujud was telling us that Bahrain is the member of Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC countries, and then inspired by the objective of the Charter of the Cooperation Council for the Arab States of the Gulf, GCC, aiming at achieving coordination, integration, and interconnection between them in all areas, leading to their unity and pursuant to the objective of the GCC Economic Agreement. Those countries are collaborating on many areas in terms of the economic, financial policies, commercial, industry, customs, trade, and so forth. So basically that Nujud was telling us that the Kingdom of Bahrain has a role not only to develop policies and guidelines, but also to participate in the standards formulation, implementation of those standards, evaluation, in particular with the GCC Food Safety Committee and other relevant activities. And for instance, Bahrain is a member in the GCC Technical Subcommittee on the legislation of organic, functional, and GM food since 2008. So there are quite few legislations on GM food and feed. So basically, that she was telling us that the Bahrain refers to the FAO GM Foods platform for developing standards for GCC because the platform is an important source to obtain the latest information around the world because there is a membership there, and then lots of GCC countries are members of FAO, and then they actively participating in the GM Foods platform at FAO. So Bahrain is obtaining the information through the platform on GM food safety assessment. So for them, it is important to gather information before making standards, and usually the Bahrain refers to well-known organizations, and then that's why the platform is very useful for them to exchange information and then learning about the decisions and assessment results of the GM food and feed. So that's what she told me. So sorry that Nujud, I'm just reading the points that you sent us. So hopefully that covers what you wanted to say. So hopefully that your microphone will be fixed in the meanwhile. But then I don't see your microphone still yet. So I'm going to move ahead to the next question. Also that we have asked the same question about the practical tips on the effective use of data. As you see on the screen that Luke has kindly suggested certain tips that he thinks that the platform could be useful for. And then also in the same topic that Nujud was telling us that because nowadays that platform has 177 countries participating, So for them, it is important to get the latest information from many countries, because now that we have more than 100, I don't know, 30 countries sharing the country information on GM food safety assessment. And then those GM food safety assessment, there is a condition on the GM foods platform at FAO that the assessment has to be conducted in line with the Codex guidelines. So this was also stressed by Luke, that this is a key point of the GM Foods platform. So I think that Nujud is also highlighting this importance of the this accordance to the Codex guidelines. This is key point. And then very nicely that Nujud told us that the webinar, this kind of webinar is a really good source of information for her, because actually that this is the platform that countries like individuals like her can share the information with all the people who are participating, and also gain the knowledge online and without traveling. So that's something that Nujud told us. So hopefully that covers everything. Nujud, if you would like, you can type and correct me if I misinterpreted your points that we have. Then we know that that if I did a really good job or a really bad job. So thank you very much. And then with this, I would really like to ask other presenters and other participants on the same point. For example, can I ask Angela? You already shared with us about your insights on the use of the data, and then use of the effective use of the data on the databases. And then Angela, in your case that you spoke about BCH. But then, so like what Luke is suggesting on the slides, that is this something that you can also consider in the use of the data on the databases? And then I am asking probably the same question to Karen. I know that these databases are for information only, so probably this is not going to be factor for the decision making, but then at least for the risk assessors, for the scientific part, that this is something that I am hoping that to be useful source for you, and then also for the risk assessor to consider. So first I will go to Angela.
Hello. Thank you, Masami, for this question. And what I would like to say related to the presentation of Luke insights and tips under the FAO, I would like to mention that Moldova is party to FAO and party to Codex Alimentarius, and at present we have an FAO focal point that is very good progress for Moldova. We may understand that in Moldova we have national VCH website that is very relevant, have a lot of relevant information for LMOs and biosafety, and probably we have to encourage to place or to post the relevant Codex Alimentarius and relevant FAO platform information and database to our national level, to promote and encourage collaboration intergovernmental bodies and intersectorial collaboration at the national, at the country level. And this would be a very good experience and example of collaboration of these three platforms at the national level, inclusive OECD information. Unfortunately, in Moldova is not member of the OECD. We have a very useful and interesting collaboration participating on the task force meeting, and hopefully we can collaborate much more and share this information within our stakeholders in different fields of activities that are relevant to LMOs, to agriculture, to biosafety, to environmental risk assessment, and etc. So we see a lot of future promotions and collaboration in this field. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela. Yes, yes, it was very good. Thank you so much for your point. Karen, can I ask you the same question?
Sure. Hi. I think for the risk assessment, yes, as you ask. Though currently within the Eugenius database that I mentioned, we are mainly focusing on detection methods, molecular characterization, authorization, and what we always try is to go to um, source. So we are trying to not cite other databases, but go to the original sources. I can say that mainly for the work I'm doing, I'm focusing on the molecular characterization. And there I really go to the application documents that were provided by the applicants and to try to use these original sources. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. Can I also ask the same question to the one of the participants, Sol? Can I ask you your insights on this point? Hello?
Yes, sorry, I was starting to speak with my microphone in mute.
Okay.
No, we find very useful to have access to the different databases, but we clearly see that they have limited use for different issues, and I would say that mainly the competent authorities go most of the time, obviously depending on what is that they need to look at for the obviously the evaluation of the different LMOs. They go to the original documents. We have in our law some of the information can be classified as confidential, so it won't be in any of the databases. So it is a little bit what our colleague just comment. But for other purposes, we find very useful to look at information in other databases. In particular, we know that evaluators and regulators often look at the risk assessment of products that have been approved or authorized in other countries that are coming to our country, not to get the same result, but to learn from the experience of what has been done and how has this same product been assessed in other countries. So we find this information very useful. So that's what I could say about this.
Thank you so much, Sol. As you